Hey Aashish, evening.
Hey, hi Monisha, how are you?
Very good, very good. And I like that dramatic light on your face, like I was telling you backstage. It totally suits you, the rock
It's a
star that
very,
you are.
it's a very DIY setup. You wouldn't be very happy if you saw what I do.
No, 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 it's all cool. Yeah, I did some DIY behind me. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the
Yeah,
traditional DIY.
Christmas
And
lights.
Christmas lights, yeah. So welcome, on Festivals of India, Ashish. And I've been waiting for this ADDA with you. And I was telling you the last time, if you remember, when we sat in, I think somewhere in the wee hours of some night, right? I don't know, but 10:30 that night. And we had this amazing conversation. I think it was good. So Suman was there, you and me, and we got to know each other a little better. So that
Yeah,
flavor of the conversation is still, sort of lingering on. And I'm only, hoping that this conversation becomes equally, interesting. So, but before we sort of dive into knowing all about you, I have a few lines I would want everybody to know about you. So, Ashish is a sports manager, a musician, a traveler, yoga and nature enthusiast. And for the festival, the online Christmas celebration event, Reason to Sparkle, Ashish, you're going to be, I think, going, live with us on 31st of December in the evening. And you're going to be, I think, presenting a series of songs for us. So, which is with band Orange Rain, right? And I have a little write up if you allow me to speak about it. So, Orange Rain is an acoustic band from Bangalore, influenced by a wide array of artists and musical styles from across the country. The band delivers a unique sound that transcends across various genres and languages and dives deep into the soul. You have Twinkle Ann as the vocalist, Ashish yourself on as a percussionist and on the guitar, and Vishal, who's your partner on keyboard and guitar as well. So three of you, and you rock the stage wherever you go. So over to you, Ashish. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself and wherever you want to go from there?
Okay. So I'm from Bangalore, as you mentioned, Monisha. I'm a freelancer by profession. To start from there, I do a couple of things for a living and a couple of things to keep my energy and spirit alive, so to say. Um, the I work as a sport event manager, so I had the opportunity to be in Australia for about 4 years. I did a master's course in sport management, and I've been lucky enough to work quite strongly and quite deeply in the industry. So I've been able to work with clients like the IPL, Indian Super League, the FIFA Under 17 World Cup that happened in India in 2017. So that's part of what I do. As you mentioned, I've been a musician for the longest part of my life. It's been a passion which came down to me from my father, and luckily enough, I've had the opportunity to learn and grow with a ton of great artists, mostly from Bangalore. So I play for a couple of bands now, as a drummer, as a percussionist, Orange Rain being one of them. I think music is something that is very strongly embedded in the family. So our extended family is a bunch of great singers and great performers. So I stand somewhere as a tiny dot in that big space. Other than that, um, I'm a traveler. I feel like I'm a traveler by heart, or say a wanderer, if for a lack of right word. I've
Vagabond.
sorry,
Vagabond is. I think
vagabond. Yeah,
Vagabond is a good one.
yeah, that's a good one. I'll keep that. So yeah, I enjoy the travel. Like the real travel bug actually bit me while I've been traveling extensively for sports. Growing up, I've been a sports person, so a lot of my life growing up was about moving to different states to play for nationals, to play your state meets or like whatnot. So it started there, but while I was in Australia and when I was 22, 23, I discovered the whole world of traveling, and it's a bug that's bitten me quite hard. I've been able to have some great adventures with the friends, with colleagues, and So yeah, I do that. I like photography. I write a bit. So while I travel, I share my stories through my photos and my write-ups as much as possible. I've not been able to publish as much as really should be, but yeah, I've written a few things here and there. Other than that, um, I've been practicing yoga now for about 1.5 years now, and I continue to. I've been lucky enough to find myself a guru who's from Kerala. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. We
That's a
can we
lot
can.
about you, Ashish. I feel like a little girl now, and I think I dressed aptly also. And I knew I was a big personality across the screen, so I'm so happy. You're actually looking older than me right now, so I'm feeling a little happy right now. I don't know so much. Okay, I probably know how to do half of those things, but you very fairly remind me of my yesteryears. Ashish, I was telling you this in one of my older conversations. You remember the first video that someone shared about you
Yeah,
was of the three of you actually jamming on your terrace, right? And I was telling about this little backdrop, way back when I was in college, where every weekend or whenever we had time, I used to hang around with this bunch of boys and girls, okay, all of the same age, and not from different colleges, okay, not just from my own institute, but we used to like gather in each other's house, and only houses, not apartments, because Bombay is full of them. And we used to go on the terrace, we used to jam, and I used to be like this, you know, sitting on the wall personality who used to always cheer them up, and I used to, completely have fun. And that was how I associated to that video when I saw. So
yeah,
completely took me back those yesteryears, and it made me feel really so young. I'm like, where are those days? We should meet Ashish and get to know. But
yeah,
it's really nice, Ashish. I think these are years of life. Which I think never come back, and it's only because you don't have too many, shackles around your feet, no major, relationship and other issues like that. And you know how it is, right? When you become like, you grow a little older and you have a little more, hopefully responsible, and then, everybody pushes you in the direction of getting married, and then you have children, and you have to have, focus more on your profession because, you have people to take care of at home and stuff like that. So this is actually one of the best phases of life, and I'm so glad that, a young like you is actually making the most of it, because I know for sure that not many do. And I think following your heart is very important, right? Because once you start doing it, I think you come to know a lot about yourself, which takes you again in the direction where you should be, rather than, just wander around, uh, doing things that you shouldn't be, or you're not really having fun about, right? So out of all these things that you mentioned, which are the ones which are the closest to you?
God, don't
All
put
of
me in
them.
trouble. Ah,
Something has to be. I'm sure something has to be. It's like having so many passions and
yeah.
uh,
I think growing up, sport was everything, right? Like there was like as kids when we were growing up, naturally we were like sporty guys or like sporting kids, and we lived, breathed, and ate sports. Like literally, there was nothing else in the world that we wanted to do. Nothing else in the world we were probably good at. So it kind of helped that it was so strongly embedded in us, and honestly, like my life has taken this direction as a sport event manager because I
hmm,
realized how valuable sport is in everyone's life, the kind of values it imbibes in you, the kind of how do I say, like the kind of principles and values it teaches you of being a part of a team, of being part of teamwork, of hard work, of accepting defeat at young ages, of being able
hmm,
to be flexible. So it's very hard to choose one, right? So yeah, sport growing up was like the number one thing ever.
hmm,
Um, Music for me has never been like a full time thing. I'm sure music is something that each one in this world probably carries in certain way with ourselves. I have been luckily, although I'm a self-trained musician, I have never had formal
Wonderful.
training as such. Everything that I've done and everything that I've learned is by myself. So it's if you see me playing even now, you will see that like I'm mostly rusty. So probably music has never been like up there as me being a full-time musician or just completely only listening to music or just sharing music with friends and the opportunity to be on stage and perform is something that has always been a side of my life. Um, but I think my late 20s, my mid 20s, and my 30s, I think travel and the whole concept of traveling and the whole ideologies and the everything to do with travel, right? And when I say travel, I just don't mean visiting a place. It's a lot more than that which I've been able to see. Say, for example, my trip to Kashmir, I was in Kashmir for 16 days in 2018, and just being able to live with locals, just the
Hmm.
whole concept of all of that, being able to eat local food, understanding, empathize with the locals, I think that has taken like a huge steeping curve, and possibly now I'm at my most truest self while I'm traveling and I'm in my kind of out of my comfort zone. I think the best of me comes out because I can talk and I luckily I can talk and I can um,
Yeah.
fluidly get along with people and I think maybe right now current phase of my life I really do enjoy traveling for everything that it offers from the outside and everything it does to me from the inside as well. Um, so I don't know if I
Interesting.
can still give you a number one, number two, but
No,
yeah,
no, you're slowly just like mentioning everything else. So you're not, telling me your favorite things. But that's
yeah,
okay. I kind of feel you, Ashish, because I know that, when you're into everything, right? Into every bit of your, I mean, every part of your life is something you're passionate about. It's very difficult to say, I like this more, I like that more. It's about just one whole story, right? So sometimes when you're probably at work, but you're just taking a few days off to travel somewhere close by, you'll do that, right? And then if you're jamming with your friends in some corner in that city, you're doing that thing. It's all a part of the same story for an individual. And I think
yeah,
it doesn't have to be put into boxes, that this is what I want to do this like, and that is something that I want to do with that like, and eventually it just becomes you. But Ashish, this whole, the interesting part about you, I remember the conversation that we had, the first conversation that we had was you were mentioning that, you are a social activist in your heart, and you associate to people around you, people who are not so privileged, and you have enjoyed sort of connecting with that side of the community, right? In terms of your association with children of different abilities, be it in orphanages, etc. How did that happen at this young age? Because I can count the number of people I know who at a very young age, feel sensitive towards
Hmm.
people who are not so privileged, very very blankly put. How did your experience land you in that direction? Did you have any trigger, or it just came to you?
I I can possibly think of one incident when I was 22, 23, I guess, and that was a visit a friend of mine while I was back then I was still trying to figure out life and working for a corporate firm. I can't believe I worked for a corporate firm for a year and a half until life took the turn it did. But back then, I had a friend named Sandhya who was quite active in social work, so to say. Um, I can't remember if I was very consciously, but at that time I knew that I was not doing anything significant or like anything very consciously. Maybe seeing a beggar in the road or like seeing somebody who needs some money or some food, I would have done it very unconsciously. But it was this visit to a differently abled NGO, which was I think 2011 or 10, if I'm not wrong. Um, that changed everything. That changed the whole ball game to me. Because when I went there, I had just I had taken one of my instruments called a djembe, right? That's like a percussion instrument, and
Hmm.
it was very the way I connected with the kids there and how I became one with them. So they were like differently abled in like I'm sure you know like there are degrees, right? Like certain people
Yeah.
are 50% and certain kids are like 10%. That one visit to that NGO kind of changed things for me, and I think although I didn't do anything drastic or significance after that, but I think it
Hmm.
was a change of mindset on understanding. It kind of opened my mind space up, I think, to understanding how privileged I am and how grateful I
Yeah.
should start being, right?
Hmm.
Um, the kids there were extraordinary, Manisha. I can't even tell you, like, I was there for about 4 or 5 hours. We danced. We had like wrestling matches. We painted. We played games. They. I was playing the instrument. I was playing the djembe, and they were dancing on. What I think captivated me was that the fact that they were full of life, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and that kind of, I don't know if it triggered me back then, but that's like the first memory I have of
Hmm.
being associated to something so naturally, right? I was one with the kids that day. Like initially there was some sort of a resistance. I'm sure you would have seen it when we visit NGOs. Like it's that
Oh, yeah.
initial rub off moments, and the moment you kind of get past that moment, it's you
You
become
thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was very strong in terms of an energy for me as well, because once I came back home, my friends started telling me, they were like, dude, like seeing you like this was
Another
we've
side.
not yeah, it was we've not seen a lot of people like this. Why don't you start getting yourself involved in these places? So back then it was not more of a serious thought or anything. I just realized that this is sort of my happy place and I can be my own true self at these places. So why not continue giving it a shot? So over the years now, which has been about 7 or 8 years since that happened, or probably a little longer. Um, Luckily, I've been able to get myself involved with a lot of work, been able to associate with NGOs. Also, just I've had incidences where in Bangalore, I've been able to go and play, sit with like people on the streets and like play guitar for them, with them, sing with them for like a couple of hours. I don't know if you know Hard Rock Cafe in Bangalore, like
Yeah.
it's in the
Yeah.
heart of the
Yeah.
city. So there's a bunch of people who live on the streets there,
Hmm.
and I had this moment with them back in 2018 or 19 where I became so close to them. They still like call me now. Like it's like a
Sounds
very
great.
strong friendship that we sort of built. It was not like अच्छा आप ये हो आप मैं ये हूँ. Like it was a very natural flow, and yeah. So this is something that
Nice.
I intend never to let go of. So we have a family tradition now that every birthdays, at least, if not anything, we make it a point to um, not just go to an NGO, not just give them money, but to be actively present and um enjoy with the kids. Like make them at least for a day. Like I know it's hard, like with the lives that we all lead, it's hard to kind of, as we were
Yeah.
speaking the other night, it's hard to kind of push yourself out of your bubble and think think a little more than just your own life. So
Hmm.
this is something we actively do as a family now, and it's nice. So I've had some great memories at orphanages where a bunch of my friends come. As I said, we have a very talented set of friends. So they all come, we jam. There's some people who do dance workshops. We had like my previous birthday, we had like color painting and like music, dance, and whatnot. So it's a very inclusive way of approaching the space. So I'm
Oh,
sure
nice.
people are doing a lot more work and a lot more good work, but I try to do as much as I can. And
No, it sounds beautiful, Ashish. I think Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted everybody to hear about you, because you know we all the normal normal people of the world, so as to speak, who are able to walk freely, talk freely, do things which are considered normal in the world, right? We feel that somehow we are more privileged than them, because somewhere we can do what we want, we can go where we want, and exactly, all the actions are entitled. But when you go to a community which is like the way you mentioned, somewhere you realize how little you are, in front of that energy that you
Yeah,
grounded by. Right? And I think that is the beauty. I think more than you giving them something, you're actually receiving from them. You're receiving a lot of power, a lot of inspiration, a lot of strength. And that actually is what we little people half the time don't have, because we think that we have, what it takes. We have the courage and we have the determination and we know how, what we really want to do in our lives, etc. But very honestly, at least my revelation has been over the years, because I'm a parent to a special child, who's a non-walker. She's got challenged abilities. So my unlearning has happened because of her. So I'm practically living and breathing it every single moment of life, and she has belittled me and
yeah.
my abilities to immeasurable extents. Okay, which means that I can't even qualify how able I am anymore, because I think if you compare, in terms of who's good at what on a scale of
Mm.
1 to 10. I think my out of the three women in the house, that is me and my two daughters, my youngest one takes the cake. She's on top of the charts all the time. Yes, yes. Amazing spirit. I think it's got to do with the fact that these are children of the God, right? And somewhere, if something has been taken away, they have been empowered in far too many ways. I don't think we can even assess that. We're
Yeah, yeah.
totally.
Yeah, while you just say this, a little memory came into my head. So while I was in school, which was I think eighth or ninth grade, was the first time I started learning an instrument. The piano that you see behind me was the first instrument
Oh,
I
yeah,
ever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there was a teacher who'd come and teach us at home, and so we live on the first floor of the house we are in, and the ground floor has always had tenants, right? There used to be a blind little boy who used to come and learn with us, with me, my tenant, and that guy. Oh my goodness, like the kind of free spirited energy that he was, and the way he learned, and how passionate he was to kind of just play so that people could be happy at that age. Like, it was impressive. So um, I think partially why I take this so seriously and take it with so much heart and soul is because I've known that at least in my circles, people want to do it. People are happy to help. People have the heart to help. People are generally in a very good mind space when they are in such environments and they really give their heart and soul, but they necessarily don't have the bandwidth or the courage to go do it by themselves.
I
So
get
when they have someone who can kind of get them all together and assist them to kind of push them in that environment, um, like as you said, they win. Like the kids have their time, or the people there have their own time. If it's an old age home, like they have their time. But the people who are actually going to help or going to be part of that system come out as the biggest winners, right? Like, because as you said, we don't do enough of it in our lives of giving. There's not just enough giving, and people actually have not realized the true value of how beautiful a giving can be. Like, so yeah, I think this has been my motivating, pushing factor when I see my close friends, when I see my family just coming out on that day, like with in tears, just hugging and like, just full of love and energy. Like that makes me very happy, and that is sort of my push to at least do as much as I can. Like I know I can be doing a lot more things, and I know I should be, but
That's
we
time,
can.
Ashish. You have your entire life in front of you. Don't worry. You'll realize how amazing long one's life and how fruitful life can be. If you really have such amazing things on your to-do list. There's never a moment when you feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, right? Because you already have like a task list, which is so amazing. So I'm
Yeah.
so happy to hear, honestly, because it sort of it sort of vibrates with the energy that I live in. So that's what actually connected me to you. And I said, what a human being, what a beautiful human being. I have to grab you and get you amidst us. And here I'll tell you, Ashish, if not anything else, we don't earn a single penny on this platform. Very honestly, we tried some paid events this time. Happy that we are going very slow with it. But the idea has always been to celebrate, okay, to celebrate a spirit, have some amazing causes around the platform. We go about celebrating a festival. I know it sounds a little weird, right? How can you even celebrate a festival online? But we've been dabbling around a few methods and seems like it's working. I don't know, maybe we can get better. But
Yeah.
whatever is possible virtually, right? So we try people, we try and do a lot of sharing, and everybody loves to sort of bring what they can offer to the platform, share it with everybody. Right? So it sort of makes it a space where everybody is enjoying right now. So
Yeah.
that's how. But the beautiful part, at least for me individually, has been the causes, right? And every single, I think this is the third festival that we're doing right now in the last, I think, 2.5 months. So we are not a very old community at all. Not a very big community as well, but a very engaged community because I think here people come in with the same likeness, and they all participate, right? So the courses I was telling you has always been something very close to me because all through my growing years, I have always had a side of me which was giving, right? And I was not finding that opportunity to give enough. Like, just the way that you're feeling right now, because you get sucked into different things in life, and
Yeah.
there are pictures whether you like it or no, right? So everything that you like, okay, nothing that you can crib about, but there was always a side of me which wanted to do things differently, wanted to give differently to the society back, but I could never find an opportunity. I think this opportunity has literally fallen on my lap, accidentally, and I'm like, listen, why not? Okay, if this is the way that I can, I think let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
sort of see how we can explore different ways of reaching out. So every cause has been interestingly, chosen, and we've tried to, ensure that everybody who comes on the platform selects one M. So we are all literally singing, dancing, talking around these causes, and everything that we do has, this sort of a connection between all of us. So last in the Diwali event, we had. This amazing experience with the Diwali the cause, which was about inclusiveness in the society and women empowerment. And we spoke to a lot of people, a lot of experts. We were reached out to this NGO called HR Foundation, which is a shelter home for disabled children. We did a live Diwali sort of a evening with them, which is so nice to watch. All the children there,
Yeah.
though they were not able to sit, stand, walk, but we saw them celebrate, and I think recording is available somewhere on the channel. If you have some time, do watch it. It was very heartwarming. Very heartwarming. I think somewhere in which we can bring them right in a little bit of joy and happiness. In fact, the kids there felt excited that they could connect with the children who we had got on the Zoom link, from all over the world. They were all in splits, singing, dancing, and all of it. So what we have decided to do, Ashish, and this is somewhere where probably help me as a younger blood, right? What we really want to do is, so we've started something called the collab, vertical, which is nothing but it's a teaching vertical. So we have a lot of experts, educators from around the world, primarily from the domain of art, culture, and education. So anybody who can teach how to sing or dance or play an instrument, educator, who's not into academic curriculums, but
Right.
you can, probably teach public speaking skills or, any sort of a coding skill, for example, because so many non-academic skills that can be transferred, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to have these ongoing collabs on the platform, which means that it's not just going to be happening or taking place during the festival, it will continue throughout the year. And what we are doing is having that vertical alongside an article called the learning scholarships, which we are creating, where since this is a paid channel, the collab channel is a paid channel. Whatever we we make as our commission from the conversions of students. We're going to keep aside a fund and actually sponsor children or women or elderly, anybody who needs us, right? For sponsor. So we will actually give, and it could be an NGO, it could be even suppose you have a maid and she wants to educate her child, and you want to nominate an individual, right? Anybody. We wouldn't mind, sponsoring them into learning any of the skills which are going on in the platform or being transferred in the platform at that point of time, which I think is a way which this online medium can be helpful for people, right? Because the educator is being taught on the platform, we are facilitating, and I think all that individual needs is a means of communication. So if somebody can lend them a phone or their laptop for maybe half an hour, 1 hour a day, maybe 2 times a week, and the child or whoever it is can learn a skill, right? And that skill can actually child or the not so privileged adult in a direction where they can actually make a living out of it. You never know, right? In what way
Absolutely.
one can be helped.
Yeah.
So if that is of any connection to you, then please remember that we are doing something always in a little way. We'll continue to do it, and any help that we can get from any individual around who bring a community across to us, even that is a help, right? We're not asking anybody for any money or anything of that kind. Just the ability, the talent, and time. That's all that matters at the end of the
Of
day.
course.
So great. So what are you doing, Ashish, for the online Christmas celebration? A reason to sparkle this time. What's your plan?
Um, so my band, Orange Rain, um, a little brief about us. My best friend and fellow bandmate vocalist Twinkle Ann. We met about a couple of years ago. She's from Chhattisgarh and she happened to move to Bangalore. And then I had come back from Australia and I was looking to pursue music again. And the both of us met, and it's been a 2 year long journey of us um, being musically connected. So we started off a concept, we started off a band, and the last 2 years we've had a we've had a few changes in lineups. We've had a bunch of great musicians who've come and collaborated with us. So Twinkle and I have been the constant. Um, and people have come in and played multiple shows with us. So currently we have Vishal with us, who's an incredibly talented keyboardist and singer as well. So we hope to have some nice arrangements put in place and do a good 4 or 5 song set. So that's what is in plan. I'm very excited because Orange Rain. At least in Bangalore, in the whole Bangalore art space, we've been able to build a community of ours and a sort of a small family that follow us where we go, that give us so much love and that support us through thick and thin. We're not a very massive or a big stage band, but we have a vibe of our own, and people love us for that, and people keep coming back to us for that because there's something different about us. Without me trying to be too self-appreciative, that's us. So yeah, we do with Orange Rain. We brilliantly talented people, right? I feel so grateful that I get to share the stage with them. So we do a bunch of everything from Bollywood to your Coke studio to folk music to multilingual songs. We do mashups. We do everything in the world you can imagine. There's no barriers. There's no, but everything with our own unique style. Nothing is in the musical world we call there's a term called improvisation. So um, you let the space take over, you let the energy of the venue that you are in take over. So a lot of our music is like that. We take a certain song and make it our own, like we break it into multiple pieces and try to give our own interpretation of it. So we've been able to like play at various venues in Bangalore and a few other. We've been in Hyderabad as well a couple of times. I was telling you the other day. So we intend to go strong. We intend to go like really strong in 2021 because
Hmm.
um, it's a space that we've all been enjoying, and the people who come be with us. while we do our stage shows, people have generally walked out very happy or sometimes even in tears because we have certain experiences that we curate while we also do music. So yeah, it's been a good ride. So looking forward to that. Um,
Totally.
Hopefully,
In fact, Ashish, I don't know if this sounds funny, but I've met more Bangaloreans after coming back from Bangalore to Vizag than I met when I was there. So I was like heavily into watching live music shows and stand-up comedies and book fairs, and but that was my favorite getaway when I was in Bangalore. But honestly, if I would have met you while I was in Bangalore, I would have probably, attended every single, trip of yours. Believe me, wherever you would have played, I'm like one of those freaky flower, followers. But I can't tell you how happy I am that now, you're there with us online. I'm not sure if you've done too many online, but
we did a couple of during the pandemic thanks to 2020. So we
yeah.
it's an environment that's not alien to us.
No, I know, I know. I think it's a new medium for all of us, right? In the sense that, at least for a musician, I know it's so important to have that connect with your friends, right? And that's where the energy actually comes from. But I tell you, this is the new normal. I don't know where it's going from here, but somewhere I realized, since it's being able to connect so many people and so effortlessly, I have a feeling this energy of the medium is going to last way beyond the pandemic times. That's my only belief right now because I'm seeing that energy flow in, and I'm sure because I have been doing so much of these interactions that for me as an individual, I still manage to draw that energy. I still manage to get that connect with that individual, even though it's a virtual medium, right? And I think over time, because of the frequency or the number of times you hit the medium, trying to explore, innovate, and use it, uh, each of us are going to find a solution, in terms of how
Yeah,
it works for the best for all of us. So I can't wait. I don't know about anybody else, but I know that if you have a good content, and in your case, I have heard you sing, you guys actually sing and play. I know that it is going to make connect. Okay. And for everybody who's listening to us, they have to log in. Okay. So I'm just going to spell it out. This is happening, in fact, on 31st of December at 8 p.m. That's when we've scheduled you, Ashish, right on the eve of New Year's. So hoping that no matter where people are, they can you know, uh, just join the channels that we have. We've got multiple of them. We're going to be live streaming, and they can watch you.
yeah.
You guys play all over, and bless you. So no matter where you're going to be, I'm sure you're going to be somewhere in the Middle East, but do try to watch yourself as well. So
I
I
sure will. I sure will. I'm looking forward to how it looks, and we'll see.
yeah, exactly how can we take it further.
Yeah.
I think so. And your last note, Ashish, it's Christmas time. It's just like a week away from Christmas, maybe 7 nights, I don't know, 8 nights. People are all counting down now. So, what's your message for Christmas and also for New Year's to all of us?
Um, my message for Christmas or New Year's would be to surely be more try and be more kind and compassionate. Generally, overall in life, I think that's qualities that we all sort of, as human beings as a whole, sort of need to work upon very seriously, whether it is kindness towards your fellow human beings or just um, other species that live around you, animals, whatever you may, whatever is said and done, kindness and compassion can seriously go a long way. Everything else can follow, love and everything else can follow, but if you're kind and compassionate and someone who knows how to empathize, I think life for you and life around you generally can become very pleasant. And I think after the year that we've all managed to survive, I think 20 to 21 needs nothing more. Like it needs all of us to sort of come as one strong energy and release our potential of each one of us. I think this, I learned this from my father, from my old man, right? Like he was a guy who always believed in the idea of oneness, whether it was within family, whether it was within friends, whether it was human beings as a whole. And I think a part of his legacy has transferred to me, and I strongly believe in that. Like the fact that together and as one, I think what we can achieve is boundless. Like, and we're already able to see this with your great initiative. You guys have done such a spectacularly great job in being able to conceptualize and also being able to how do you say, make this operationally happening, right? Yeah, like it's me being
Great.
in events and me being a hardcore event manager. I can only imagine the kind of tenacity this needs, right? It's not for the, I mean, no offense, but it's not for the faint-hearted. Like it's not stuff everyday people can do. So without trying to deviate, I think togetherness and oneness can really go a long way. So if we can all try to push towards that,
Beautifully said, Ashish. I love the way you speak. Okay, so I'm a big fan anyway. Whether you sing well or no, now it's secondary to me. But
I don't have
every time
brownie points.
I'm like always besotted. I'm like, listen to him, guys. You know, everybody at his age should be speaking like him. Imagine what a beautiful place the world is going to be. So I'm a huge fan of yours now. So Ashish, I know that you have this sexy guitar happening there, which is something that you showed me a peep of. I'm not
Yeah,
going to let you get off the screen without us hearing a little bit of that.
yeah,
So
sure.
let there be some magic, please.
So I'll play a little track of this artist called Prateek Kuhad. He's a indie artist. For anybody tuning in today or anybody who will see this video, please go and follow Prateek Kuhad. He's from Mumbai. He's become an internationally renowned artist, and he's unbelievable. Like I've grown so fond of him, and he's representing the country in like so many big platforms. And I mean, you feel good, right, when you see somebody of your own doing so well. So he's an indie artist. I listen to a lot of indie music. So like homegrown, local Indian music. So yeah, this one is called Ye Pal. It basically speaks about how how moments just go past you in a flash, right? So लबों पे जो भी हो कह भी दो कह रहा हूँ मैं ये दिल की बातों को रोको ना ठहरा हूँ मैं नशीली रात है तारे भी साथ है गुनगुनाते हम चले शहर की गलियों से जाने क्यों ये पल पिघल गया फिसल गया जाने क्यों ये पल पिघल गया फिसल गया ये कोई ना कहे सुने भी कोई नयन ये रातें वो ही है बदल रही मंजिलें ये कैसा खेल है क्यों इधर हम फंस गए ये रातों का है क्या आज है कल नहीं जाने क्यों ये पल पिघल गया फिसल गया जाने क्यों ये पल पिघल गया फिसल गया भी है मैं भी हूँ प्यार भी है यहाँ नजर में तू आ गई नजर में मैं आ गया है रास्ते जुदा तो क्या हुआ राजी हूँ मैं जज्बातों का है क्या आज है कल नहीं जाने क्यों ये पल पिघल गया फिसल गया
This is so good, Ashish. In fact, I thought like transferred into some other place. But it's not so bad listening to you live. I don't know why you were thinking that it's not going to be that great. It's okay when it's just like being in the same room and listening to a person, right? It's not bad at all. In fact, I don't know. Try out something live maybe someday soon, right? Probably headstorm with you sometime and figure this out. But I think Twinkle and Vishal would have completed the picture. You're missing them now, and we can only sense what's coming up right on
yeah
the 31st. So
I'm not
I'm
so much of
so
a singer anyways so yeah don't
no, no, no. Please don't
don't base our
underestimate
plan
yourself.
based on this
No, no, no. You're not. Don't underestimate yourself. I think you're good. If when you're feeling the song, right? It doesn't have to be anything else. I think it's all about the way one feels about a song, right? And in general, it just emotes by itself. But thank you so much, Ashish, for doing this little thing for us. Yeah, it was beautiful. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Do you want to ask me any questions? I know I keep doing this, but do you want to leave me a trick question? You want to pull a leg before I let you go,
no, no, no,
or
I'm ask it so
I,
I
I
mean
don't I don't let everybody do this, but I think you're the right one to do it. So I'm like probably just taking my chances.
hmm. So I'll keep it limited to the festival and everything to do with that. Um, so maybe you can tell us what was your where did the how did you give birth to this like or this idea or where was this something that you always thought of or was this something that
You want to know the truth? I'll tell you the truth, okay? And the truth is the best way to keep it, right? Because you can't really make stories around. So what happened was, I have, like I told you, I'm a mother of two daughters. So my youngest one is wheelchair bound, okay? And
yeah
I have always, since I think now she's going to be completing her 10th year and she's stepping into her 11th. So she's somebody who was diagnosed with SMA and signed off, okay, by the doctor that this child is not going to survive beyond the age of 2 years. Okay, this was when she was 10 months old, and I'm talking
mm,
about 10 years back. So you
mm,
know how it can be for a mother, right? So
yeah
everything sort of turned upside down, and I had to do what it takes to sort of figure out survival. More than my survival, it was her survival from there that point onwards. So everything in life, Ashish, has happened because of her since then. Okay, so me moving away from my corporate career. So I'm an architect by profession. I was in a hardcore real estate job, in the corporate real estate industry in Bombay for 20 years. And suddenly after this happened, I realized that, it wasn't enabling me to assist her, right, in her condition. So I had to make a lot of changes. And some of those changes was turning into an entrepreneur, trying to figure out, the entrepreneurial journey to suit the needs of the child along with what I have to do for, with sort of financially surviving as a single parent. So everything. So I had like a couple of startups that I got into, whether it was Mind Your Tongue, Creative Bent of Mind, then I had something in the real estate spectrum called Beyond One. And then this happened. So everything was somehow connected with contributing to my personal life, right? So Mind Your Tongue was all about organic meals and, ensuring that we get customized food options, right, for people with disabilities and then people with food challenges, so as to speak. Started with that as a need, and then it went into combining with the mainstream, but not losing its essence. Creative Bent of Mind was so about customizing, non-academic curriculums or skills, bringing it to a section of the society where, children with special needs, children with regular needs, everybody could, benefit learning from an educator. So sometimes what is an educator says, oh, I need so many students and hence I will be able to take a class, otherwise no. So Creative Friend of Mine started developing a community and started getting collaborators, sort of a collaboration between an educator and a child. And that made it possible for a lot of children, in Bombay, Bangalore, wherever I was working, to sort of avail, skills from some of the best educators. So that's how Creative Bent of Mind was born. Beyond One was totally disconnected, but then again, by the time I started Beyond One last year, which was a real estate platform, I had already gotten very good at community building. So community
Mhm.
building had become my sort of area of expertise, right? So that when all my startups oriented around building communities. So Beyond One started building a real estate community. The aim was to become an Amazon of real estate service providers. Now, what happened this year? Everything was slow, right? And so Kia was always enjoying, food that she would get, food options she would get from Mind Your Tongue or the Creative Bent of Mind, the workshops that I would bring to her because she was one in the community, right? She was like one of the audience members. And as a parent, I always got involved into a lot of art, culture, education-based, events, just so that I could keep my children motivated. And I never differentiated between Naira and Kia because for me, both are equally able, if you ask me the truth. So,
Yeah.
my activity levels always have to be enough and more so that I could, spill the energy onto them and get them excited. So every year for the festivals or for any occasion, I had to show a lot of excitement and it became a part of me. It wasn't something that I had to do intentionally. Since I was always a part of the community, everything that I did, transferred the energy into that place as well. But this year somehow it felt very strange. And you know, when a Durga Puja and all these rituals are like big, social events, right? When people come together, they're celebrating, they're eating, they're dancing, and they're singing. This year, nothing happened, and so one day Kitara came and Kia came up to me and said, "Mama, what do we do this year? We've been holed up for too long. Can't we like make a little group? Everything is happening online. Can't we just get a family, friends, cousins, all of us together, and let's celebrate Durga Puja?" Because she remembers, ki every year I used to push her on the stage. So whatever little she could do, whether it was singing a song or putting up, like her taking part in the art competitions, I would ensure that both the children got an opportunity into whatever they did. So this year it was a bottleneck, and I said, what the hell? I've been noticing them having online education, this, that, and everything, and I said, I know we need like to create a group. So let's make a Facebook group because I know that social media worked really well to build communities because all my other startups were anyway thriving on social media handles, right? So
Mhm.
when I started this, I did a little Zoom call with 12 very close family and friends. And I said, I hope you guys don't mind, but let's do this. It should be fun. So everybody said, yes, hello, nikal parte. And I had to just make, a little community so private group on Facebook was born on the 4th of October. And we said, okay, let's keep it open, So maybe if Ashish is the
October. That's like
yeah,
literally now. That's like
yeah.
hardly a
So
month and a half.
hardly. So yeah, exactly. About maybe a little over 2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
So we kept it open. We said, okay, let's invite the close family and friends and, whoever wants to contribute with their talent. And it just kept growing, Ashish, after that. And then everybody who started out with me, they got a panic because they didn't know how to manage this. Okay. So they all said, Monisha, great. We will contribute with whatever we have to contribute, but don't ask us to do any back end management. Okay. Because I don't know how you're going to do this. So I know it was a little difficult in the beginning. We were like, I think 800 folks already with, so the number, so that's the count of the group. That doesn't matter. But out of those 800, which, number of people for the first event, the Durga Puja event, there were 33 people from like all over the world who were sending in talent videos and different kinds of things. And all I had to do was actually start putting a little structure, because
Yeah.
if you don't, then it's very difficult to organize an event, right? And I said, what the hell, man? It is something that you do if you have to do like an offline event. So let's try and see what we can do to the online stage. So that's how Music Nation, Dancey Nation, Theatre Nation, and all these other nations came together because all we did was we slotted certain verticals, and we said, okay, this content gets into this, and we started making a calendar around the content, because we said since we have 5 days, so let's do it like how a show is usually done. So the Facebook group then became a platform, became a stage, and we figured out different channels. I was actually alone that time, so I won't use the word we, but so figured out different live streaming, channel and other ways in which the audience can actually see all the performances. And it went about in a smaller way because 5 day का event था, एक दो दो program था, हर किसी ने art gallery भेजा था, तो किसी ने गाना गाया, किसी ने नाच किया. It was okay, it was a festival. But then the causes got built in. I started working around the causes from day one. We did panel discussions, so that whole interaction with people started. Then by the time Ashish, we landed up in the Diwali event, we were close to 72 participants, which meant that the number of people participating in the festival grew from 33 to 72. And it started getting that much more difficult because you know how it is, right? As an individual, uh, you know how it is to manage one performance, right? If the live streaming quality is not good or people can't hear, or it could be anything technical, right? Thankfully, by then, Suman from nowhere contacted me and she found this on social media and she said, you know what, Manisha, I want to join you only at the back end. I don't want to get into the front end. But don't ask me to do lives and stuff like that. I won't be able to do it. But anything, any back end support, I can help you out. I had no idea what Suman could do. Suman had no idea about me. She didn't know me from Adams. So we started talking every day. We started sort of, ideating together, and that's how dheere dheere karke we've realized that content is something that we can work on together. And then she started getting, so we moved from still bannering to video bannering, if you know what it means, visors, and started getting the whole platform a little more excited.
Yeah.
There was a lot more buzz. So that's how the format of the event changed from still to non-still, and obviously the content was looking better because it was presented in a slightly more better fashion. And
Yeah.
this event, this event, Ashish, don't ask me how many people there are. The last count I took this afternoon was about 248 people,
Wow.
which
And these
so
are
now
active participants, like people who are
active
engaged.
participants.
Yeah.
Active participants from literally all over the world. So we have somebody from Mexico, somebody from Sydney, somebody from Melbourne, US. Now there is a huge community. We have a mid-sized community from UK now, from UAE now, India, from all different corners of here. It's basically the world on the platter right now. So it doesn't matter to me how big the group has grown because now we are across multiple social media handles. But the number of people who are engaged in the platform in terms of just participating, right, like contributing their own selves in different ways. So somebody could be taking part in a panel discussion, somebody could be singing like your band, somebody could be dancing, somebody could be drawing and presenting their artwork. Anybody, an educator could be collaborating on a workshop. There's so many different ways in which one can participate that I think the number of participants in each category now has started increasing because people have realized that if they can do one thing, this is how they can associate themselves with, right, in this vertical platform. So
Yeah.
I think it's been brilliant. Yeah, I don't know where we are heading from here, but now the next step for me is because of a lot of push and encouragement that I'm getting, I'm actually having to incorporate this as a formal organization, which is going to happen in 2021. So we're going to be trademarking and all of that, and running it like a social organization. I'm not going to be calling ourselves an event platform because the idea is to actually do multiple things in terms of having a education vertical, having a skill transfer vertical, having the learning scholarship vertical that I said, because we do want to be a community welfare organization. I don't think the intent is only to be an events platform, because events will be the accent. It'll be what makes us get into that happy space together. But during the year, I don't want this place to be quiet. I want people to keep coming in. We want to keep talking. We want to keep knowing people. Bringing out the best of the lot across to the community and doing some wonderful stuff. So the ends
Nice.
are all blurry. We're not putting a framework to the ends, but yes, we got a core framework somewhere. So that's how
Yeah,
it's.
it's a well guarded path. I think that you guys have built for all of us, and I think with all of us coming together, I think we can create wonders, absolute wonders. I have a
Yeah,
couple more questions before I head off.
sure,
do
sure,
you
sure. Please.
do you foresee taking or like bringing some part of the community in an offline setting maybe once the world is in a better place? Is that something that is part of your vision?
I think so, Ashish, but very honestly speaking, the offline space, what I have understood is very differently managed than an online space, right? Because there it is to do with a local community. You need to take full charge of the physical form of an event, right? Whether it is sound, light, stage, venue, people attending, etc. So the format that we want to follow is that since we're going to be sort of a global platform, the intent is to actually have like a country level partner, so maybe, Suman, who is now our, country level partner at US. We
Yeah.
are looking for somebody now in the other parts of the world. So that person becomes more like the coordinator for that region. And that coordinator will have enough play to do offline, online, because things are going to be more physically accessible for somebody at a country coordinator level, right? And I think someone like me can completely be overviewing because I don't see myself micromanaging for very long. I know I'm doing that right now. But if this has to really, live its full potential, a platform like this where people, the community is completely vibrating all the time, things happening all across the
It
place.
has to
I think,
it has to be
yeah,
from everyone. It
has to
has
be
to be.
exactly. It has to be. So I think that country level partner can then, micromanage with city level partners. They can do offline events, can be even live telecasted for all you know, and things can keep happening. Like I said, the ends are not, they're not frozen, and I don't think the ends will ever be frozen. The
Yeah.
intent of the platform, however, will be to become, a place where we can celebrate anything to do with art, culture, and education. I think celebration is the motto of life. Festivals of India, I'm saying literally, right? They just accentuate the celebration spirit. So that is why, we've been loyal to the spirit and celebration spirit of a festival. I think it brings people together, right? Brings the best out in everybody. We all dress to kill, and we speak to kill, and we dance to kill, and we sing to kill, and all of that. I think the spirit is infectious. So that is how I think, keeping that as a baseline, we should expand. And in fact, everyone, right, including yourself, Ashish, if y'all can help grow the community with like-minded people, imagine what a beautiful place this can be, right? Where we don't have to worry about who's not of the tribe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
So every time you go to when you go celebrate your birthday next, take us along with you. That's what I mean. So that is how you can do an offline event online.
My kids will show you guys talents that you've not seen for
No, no,
long
I,
time.
I am sure of that, and we will enjoy watching them and having fun with them. But who wouldn't want to gain some energy from these guys? But that's exactly how the offline and the online world can meet. So every time somebody does something, it's all about plugging in, right, and ensuring that you're connected live at that point of time, and that's it. Voila, we're we're able to do anything virtually then. But seriously,
Absolutely.
let's be creative. Let's think of ways. Like I said, every new person adds energy, new ideas. I'm nobody, okay? So I'm actually very selfish. I did this for Kea. So she's participating, she's having a good time. I'm happy, and I'm sure everybody else is happy too. So, as a very selfish mom, turned into this accidental startup sort of founder, I am happy. Trust me, I'm not taking any credit for it. Yes.
Awesome.
So what is the next question? Am I like off the
Next
hook
question
now?
is really a tough one because you put me in the spot. I'm going to put you in the spot. So you told me you like all the startups that you told me. What would be your favorite, including?
Oh my God, I love all of them, yeah, because you know I don't think I'm a person who would do anything if I was not passionate about it, just like you. Okay, so I think I have a lot of a lot of likes with you in the sense that there are lots of commonalities. However, for some time in my life, because obviously I'm a little, little older to you, so there have been some wasted years of my life, and I got into the corporate world, and I actually dumped a lot of my energy there. But everything has been a part of learning, Ashish. So today, when I've come back to myself and I feel very young again, free spirited, everything that I've done, with these four ventures have been things that have been always close to me, right? So if you tell me, "Ki, Monisha, will you let go of any one for the other?" The answer would be strictly no. Answer would be strictly no, because I think, Mind Your Tongue has made a mark. It has helped a lot of people, especially with eating disorders, children with special needs. This is a startup which sort of attacks the dietary side of one's life, right? How food becomes the most important thing for you, because sometimes I think money can't buy good food, but somebody's good heart, a passion for cooking, and keeping in mind that you got to be sensitive to who's consuming it can create some amazing food, right? So that is a startup which is again very close to my heart. So I am an occasional chef, is what I call myself. I've learned some of the skill from the trade there. Creative Pet of Mind is a venture which started out small. It addressed, communities with special needs. Today, I think what I want to do with it is take it to the corporate side of the world, because I think, the skill force, because I spent like 25 odd years in the corporate side of the industry. I feel that there are lots of youngsters, a lot of people across task forces who have various needs which the organization is extremely blind to, right? Be it, having creative writing skills, for example. So people always keep harping on presentation skills, okay, or this is what you need to have to be fitting into the corporate, side of the world. But how about just writing creatively, right? Writing your own content. We all know that, somebody who can create good content, written content, can convince anybody. And today it's the digital marketing era, right? Every single word, you don't have to string together hundreds of words together, but one visual, one strong line can communicate the message in more than one ways, right? So I think there are lots of such traits and skills which task forces don't get, because the academic education that they have come in with, they never have exposure, right? Unless somebody does a lot of self-learning, picking up skills on their own. Why does one have to leave the corporate world to get into something that you're passionate about, right? All we need to do is find passionate organizations to work with. So I think that is one side where, Creative Bend of Mine does want to focus, and everything to do with the non-corporate side. I think I want to bring it back to Festivals of India on the collab vertical, because this is where I think the non-corporate side of the world is. So everybody who's in the happy space, wants to celebrate it and still want to, have a skill transfer taking place, can enjoy it on this side. So I see a lot of cross pollination, anyways. The real estate startup is completely different. It's where I have, special abilities, so as to speak, because I have been a real estate professional. But the idea again there is to help a huge, unnoticed community of service providers who are not getting the limelight, right? Because the real estate industry, if you, I don't know how much you know of it, is not a very sane place. It is a highly corrupted industry in the country today. So unless and until you're polishing off people's hands, you don't get big contracts, you don't get, create a label of your own, and that way the clients are not connected with the good service providers. So somewhere I feel, you need to have an honest bridge which can get a talented service provider who could be an expert in that domain across to somebody who has a good project, and maybe the client will not be fretting and regretting a choice made with her, and the vendor and the client can both be, sort of happy together. So everywhere
Yeah.
it's a bridge, right? It's a bridge. So everywhere in every form of a startup, I'm just playing the operator's role or a facilitator role. I'm trying to build communities which can be bridged through the platform. So I
Yeah.
think that's how, Ashish, I'm able to facilitate any better than, some of the people that you think you know. I'm not so much an events person, but I have been facilitating communities for, I think, almost 7 to 8 years now, in different ways since I've turned an entrepreneur. So some skills have grown from there. I'm still learning. I don't think I'll ever learn completely. But if you put a thought in my head, I will turn it not into an idea, but I'll turn it into a venture. That's what, that's the kind of monster I've now become. So don't talk loosely to me is what I tell, to people around, because you never know from where I'll get an idea, and then I'll say, "Okay, let's do it," and then it becomes an avalanche from there on. So that's how
Yeah.
it is.
Good avalanches, I'm sure. Good avalanches. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more or less it. So next time we meet, and we want to talk a little more some fun ideas. I think you ping me, I ping you, Ashish. Let's do that. Okay. So
Absolutely.
maybe
Absolutely.
try and start some travel buddy organization. I don't know. Start
Why
out.
not? Why not?
Yes, something like
Yeah,
that. It'll be good fun to watch.
for
So,
sure.
Ashish, I'm not letting you ask any more questions. I think this is the longest ADDA we've had in this season, this festival. But it's been a phenomenal one. I'm so happy that you could take out so much of time, Ashish. I never get tired of chatting with you.
Yeah.
Do have a safe trip. Do take
Thank
care
you.
of yourself and give my regards to mom at home, friends around, all the fun friends that you have. Say hi to Twinkle and Vishal. Say that we are totally excited to have them.
For
And
sure.
do send us, do try and do a Facebook Live from wherever you are, first, and say hi to all of us.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
would be nice.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay. Done,
Great.
dear. Thank you so much. Take care. Have fun. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.